Good morning, dear students. Today we'll continue with the part 5 of chapter 10, that is light reflection and refraction. In this chapter, up to this video, we have completed the part that is reflection. The reflection part we have completed. Now today we'll start the part that is refraction. Now today in refraction, first we'll understand what is refraction and then we'll see the laws of refractions. Clear? So there is difference between reflection and refraction. So today's topic is refraction. Refraction. Now what is refraction? Refraction is the bending of incident light ray with the surface which separates the two medium. The bending of incident light ray with the surface which separates the two medium. Okay. Now see, in case of refraction we require two medium, but in case of reflection there was only a reflecting surface was there. So in reflection we have seen plane mirror, we have seen concave mirror, we have seen convex mirror, we have seen convex lens, and we have seen concave lens. Okay, that all was reflecting. Okay, the mirror that is having the smooth reflecting surface. Okay, the mirrors having the smooth refracting surface. Okay, clear? So the reflection is the incident light ray after strike with the smooth surface. Okay, the incident light ray after strike with the smooth surface, okay, it is bounced back to its path. It is bounced back to its path by deviating some angle. But in case of refraction, it is not bouncing back. Okay, it is not bouncing back. So in case of reflection, what we will see? We will see the bending of incident light ray with the surface which separates the two medium. For example, this is a surface. Okay, this is a surface, and this medium is air, and this is a slab of glass. Suppose this is a slab of glass. So this is glass medium. Okay, we can make it like. Now, if the incident light ray is traveling from air and enters into the glass. Now see, there are two medium, air and glass. Air and glass. There are two medium. Now if the incident ray traveling like this, and will draw an imaginary perpendicular to the plane. Clear? So the light ray which incidents and it travel from air to glass, that means medium has changed. The incident light travel from air to glass, that means medium has changed. Now see, if the medium was not changed, then this would be the original path of the light, that is incident light. But since the medium is changed from air to glass, so and we can say air is a rarer medium and glass is a denser medium. Air is a rarer medium and glass is denser medium. Now what is rare medium and denser medium? Air is a light medium. And glass is a heavier medium. Rare medium is light medium and denser means heavy medium. That means what? The difference in the density. As we know that the density of air and glass is different from each other. Okay, and glass is denser. Glass, we know that solid is denser than the air. So air is known as rarer medium. And glass is known as denser medium because there is a density difference, and the density of glass is more than air. So air to glass, the medium has changed, the medium has changed. So since the medium has changed, then the first rule of refraction says that the incident ray after striking with the or after entering into the denser medium, it bends towards the normal. See, this is the original path which should follow. This is the original path which should be followed by the incident light rays. This is the original path. But since the medium has changed from rare to denser, so the first rule of refraction says that when the incident ray comes from rare medium to denser medium, then it is after refraction it bends towards the normal. The refracted ray is bent towards the normal. Now see, this is the original path. This dotted line is the original path of the incident light ray. The incident light ray should follow the straight path. Since the medium has changed, therefore it is reflected from its original path. See, the bending of incident light ray. With the surface which separates the two medium. This is the separating surface. Now incident light ray is bended. Therefore, this concept is known as refraction. Okay, the concept which tells us about the bending of light rays. From one medium to another is known as refraction. Clear? Now we are going to see the laws of refraction. Laws of refraction. Now we are going to see the laws of refraction. The first law of refraction. Suppose this is a glass slab. Suppose we have taken one glass slab. Now we know that this is air medium and this is glass medium. Air is a rare and glass is denser. Air is rarer medium and glass is denser medium. Now, suppose the incident light ray comes like this, okay, and we will draw a perpendicular line with the plane. This perpendicular line is known as normal. This perpendicular plane is known as normal. This perpendicular line with the plane, is known as normal. See, for example, this is the plane, and this is a perpendicular line on the plane. So this line would be known as normal. Now, the incident light ray has travelled from rare medium to denser medium. Then the first law says that when the incident ray travels from rare medium to denser, it bends towards the normal. See, this is the path which should be followed by the incident ray. Because it is traveling in an angle. So this is a straight path which should be followed by the incident ray. But as the air is rare medium and glass is denser medium, and the first law is when light ray travels from rare to denser, it bends towards the normal. See how it will be bent? It will bend towards the normal. This is the original part. And the light ray is bended towards the normal. So this is the first law. Now, second law. So here I can write rare to denser. So the light ray bends towards normal. The second law says that exactly opposite of this law, if the light ray travels from denser to rare, if the light ray travels from denser to rare, then it bends away from the normal. For example, this is again a glass slab. Okay, now see, this is glass medium and this is air. Air is a rarer medium, we know that, and glass is a denser medium. Clear? Now, suppose a light ray is traveled from glass. See, suppose this is an incident ray. This is normal. Now, this is the original path of incident ray. Which should be followed. This is the original path of incident ray, which should be followed, but it will bend towards the normal. This is the first law. Clear? Now, again I will draw one normal to this plane. See, now second law says that when light ray travel from denser to rare medium, then it will bend away from the normal. See, this is the emerging ray and this should be followed the same path. The straight path. But since it is changed the medium, that is from glass to air, denser to rare, then our law says that it will be bent away from the normal. Clear? It will be bent away from the normal. See, this is the normal. This is the original path which should be followed by the emerging ray, but it is bent away from the normal. The second law says that when the light ray travel from denser to rare, then the refract, or we can say the emerging ray, is bent away from the normal. Now, third law. The third law says that, okay, I should rub this. The third law says that for example, this is glass slab, this is air, glass is denser, air is rarer. Clear? Now, suppose this is a normal to the glass slab. Third law says that if the incident ray travels along with the normal, then there is no refraction. If the incident ray travel along with the normal means like this. If the incident ray travel along with the normal, then there is no refraction, then there is no bending. That means angle of incident and angle of refraction is 0. Angle of incident and angle of refraction is 0 degree. Clear? Now, what is angle of incident and what is angle of refraction? Now we are going to see in Snell's law. Now, in the laws of refraction, we have seen 3 laws. First, if the incident ray travel from rare to denser, it is bent towards the normal. If the incident ray, or we can say emerging ray, is travel from denser to rare, it will bend away from the normal. And this is the third law. If the incident ray travels along with the normal, then there is no refraction. Then angle I and angle R is equal to 0. Clear? Now I will take an example in which we can see the laws of refraction. Okay, the 2 laws of refraction we can see in this diagram. I am taking one prism. Okay, a glass prism. I have taken. Clear? Now, suppose this is an incident ray. This Now what is our first law says that? Our first law says that if the incident ray travel from rare to denser medium, see this is glass medium and here air is present. So air is rarer medium, air is rarer medium, air is rarer medium. Clear? So air is rarer medium, and if the incident ray travel from rare to denser medium, if the incident ray travel from rare to denser medium, then what happens? See, this is the path which should be followed by the incident ray. The straight path should be followed by the incident ray, but the first law says that rare to denser, it will bend towards the normal. It will bend towards the normal. See, it will bend towards the normal. It is bended towards the normal. See, this is the original path, but rare to denser, it bend towards the normal. Clear? Now again I will draw a normal to this plane, perpendicular. This is normal. This is also normal. This is rare medium. This is denser medium. Clear? Now our second law says that if the emerging rays travel from denser to rare, see here air is present, which is also rare medium. Outside the prism air is present, which is also rarer. So the second law says that if the emerging ray travels from denser to rarer medium, it bends away from the normal. See, this is towards the normal and this will be away from the normal. Now see, this is the original path which should be followed. See, this emerging ray travels from denser to rare, then this is the original path which should be followed. But according to our second law, denser to rare, away from the normal. Denser to rare, away from the normal. See, denser to rare, this is the normal. So the light ray will travel away from the normal. Clear? So this is the example by which we can clear the first law and second law. Rare to denser bend towards the normal. Rare to denser bends towards the normal. Denser to rare bend away from the normal. Clear? Now we are going to see the Snell's law. We are going to see the Snell's law. What Snell's law says that Snell's law says that the ratio of sin I upon sin R is constant. What Snell's law says that? Snell's law says that the ratio of sin I upon sin R is equal to constant. Now what is sin I and what is sin R? I am explaining you. Suppose this is a normal. Okay, and sorry, this is a plane and we will draw a normal. Clear? Now if the incident ray travels like this from air to, suppose this is glass medium, here there is a glass medium, air to glass. Clear? Now according to our first rule, this is the normal path which should be followed by this way, but first rule says that rare to denser it bends away from towards the normal. It bends towards the normal. Clear? See, incident ray rare to denser, it is the original path but it bends towards the normal. Clear? Now see, this is the angle which the incident ray have made with the normal. This angle is known as angle of incident. This angle is known as angle of incident, and this angle is known as angle of refraction. Angle of refraction. If anyone asks you what is refraction, you can say the bending of the light ray. The bending of light ray when it travels from one medium to another is known as refraction. Clear? Now, suppose this is I1. Suppose this is I1 and this is R1. What is I? Angle of incidence. Angle of incidence. Angle R is angle of refraction. Clear? Now second thing, suppose this is a plane and we have drawn a normal. If we have increased the angle of incidence, this is the original path. According to our first rule, it bends towards the normal. So suppose this is I2, angle of incidence, and this would be R2. If again we increase the angle of incidence, this is angle of incidence, and this would be angle of refraction. This would be I3 and R3. So the Snell's law says that whenever you will increase the angle of incident, the angle of refraction automatically increased. Angle of incident and angle of refraction. If we increase angle of incident, angle of refraction is also increases. Clear? So the Snell's law says that until the medium remains same, the ratio of sin A upon sin R is equal to constant. Snell's law says that if you have to write the definition of Snell's law, you can write the ratio of sin A upon sin R is constant until the medium remains same. Medium is air glass. Okay, this is also air, glass, air and glass. So until the medium remains same, the ratio of sin I upon sin R would be constant. Clear? The ratio of sin I upon sin R would be constant. Clear? Suppose this is 20, 40. 20 degree, 40 degree. 1 by 2, 30 degree, 60 degree. 1 by 2, 45 degree, 90. For example, 45 degree, 90 degree. 1 by 2. Clear? 10, 20. Suppose this is an angle of 10 degree, so this is 20 degree. Clear? So 1 by 2, 1 by 2, 1 by 2. Clear? So the ratio of sin I upon sin R would be constant. The ratio of sin I upon sin R would be constant if the medium remains same. Clear? And let me tell you, angle of incidence and angle of refraction. Angle of incidence and angle of refraction. Okay, angle of incidence and angle of refraction, the ratio is constant according to Snell's law. Clear? Okay, so this is the Snell's law. Now next is refractive index. Very important concept. You can draw this diagram. Next concept is refractive index. What is refractive index? Now there is one concept in our notebook, that is optical density, and optical density is measured by a unit which is known as refractive index. What is optical density? Let me tell you what is optical density. For example, a slab of glass is there. This is a normal air and this is glass. angle of incident, see this is the original path, it should be followed, but the light ray it bends towards the normal, light ray bend towards the normal. This is angle of incident, this is angle of refraction. Clear? Now, what is refractive index? The refractive index is a unit which is used for measuring the optical density. Now, what is optical density? For example, the velocity of light in air or vacuum. The velocity of light in air or vacuum is 3 into 10 raised to 8. 3 into 10 raised to 8. The velocity of light in air is 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. This is the fixed. Okay. And for example, the velocity of light in glass is 2 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. For example, now if I will increase the size of glass and also the density of glass, if I take more denser glass, then what would be the velocity of light in that glass? Clear? Now see, suppose this is the fixed quantity 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second, the velocity of light in vacuum or air, or we can say the speed of light in vacuum or air is 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. But and this glass, suppose the glass velocity of this light in glass, when the light enters in air to glass, the velocity of light in glass, suppose it is 2 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. Then my question is, if we will take another glass or another quality of glass, will this velocity remain same? Will this velocity remain same? No, because the velocity of light will change according to the density of the material in which it enters. Here the light is entered from air to glass, and suppose I will take another type of glass which having more density, then the velocity will change. So the change of velocity of light, clear? Okay. See, the change in the velocity of light according to the change in the density of the material in which it enters. The change of velocity of light according to the material which we have taken is known as optical density. And optical density is measured by the quantity which is known as refractive index. Now the refractive index is measured by letter mu or n. Clear? So suppose the optical density of this glass, I have taken the refractive index of this glass. Refractive index of glass is inversely proportional to velocity of light. Now, why I have written this? The refractive index is inversely proportional to the velocity of light. The refractive index is inversely proportional to the velocity of light. Why I have written that? Because if I will increase the density of this medium, then 100% the velocity of light will decreases. Because if light travel, see, for in air the light travel without any objection, okay, without any obstacle the light can travel in air. But in case of glass, if I increase the density, that means more compact molecules are there. If I increase the density, the molecules of this material will be more compact to each other, more closely packed. So in more closely packed medium, the velocity of light cannot remain same. It will change, and 100% it will decreases if I increase the density of this material. Therefore, the refractive index is inversely proportional to velocity of light. If the refractive index of glass is more, the velocity of light will be less. If the refractive index of glass is more, the velocity of light will be less. Clear? If I will take more thicker glass than this, then the velocity of light will decreases, because in the higher density, in more compact medium, the light cannot travel freely. It have the more obstacles as compared to air. So the refractive index is inversely proportional. Refractive index is inversely proportional to the velocity of glass. For example, refractive index 1, and this is the refractive index of first medium, and refractive index of second medium is inversely proportional to refractive index of second velocity of second medium. Clear? If I write refractive index of first medium upon refractive index of second medium, then it would be 1 upon V1 and 1 upon V2. So mu1 upon mu2 is equal to, this will go to the numerator, that is V2 upon V1, or I can write it as mu2 upon mu1 is equal to V1 upon V2. This is the main expression on which the numerical can be asked. Clear? This is the main expression on which the numerical can be asked, and this expression I can write it as the refractive index of second medium with respect to 1. The refractive index of second medium with respect to 1 is mu2 upon mu1, which is equal to V1 upon V2. This is the expression. You should write in your notebook these two expressions. Refractive index of second medium with respect to 1. The refractive index of second medium with respect to 1 is known as, or is equal to, the velocity of light in first medium and the velocity of light in second medium. Copy this. Clear? So the refractive index of second medium with respect to 1, the refractive index of second medium with respect to 1 is equal to V1 upon V2. Velocity of light in air, velocity of light in glass. Clear? Now we are going to solve the numerical based on this topic. But before, we have to complete one more small topic, that is lateral inversion, or sorry, lateral displacement. Clear? The next topic is lateral displacement. Lateral displacement. Now what is lateral displacement? See, this is a glass slab. Okay, this is a glass slab which is denser medium, and here there is air present, which is rarer medium. Clear? For example, this is normal. For example, this is a normal we have drawn. Clear? Now see, if the incident ray comes like this, now according to the first law, see, this is the original part, but according to first law, rare to denser is bent towards the normal, Clear? Then this is again a normal, and according to our second law, the emergent ray from denser to rare. See, this is the original path. This is the original path which should be followed, but from denser to rare, the emerging ray went away from the normal. It will bend away from the normal. Now see, very important point. This is the angle of incident. This is angle of refraction, and this is also an angle of refraction. See, can you see this Z-like figure here? Angle of refraction, and this is also angle of refraction. See, clear? Alternate angles are equal to each other if the lines are parallel. If the lines are parallel, the alternate angle equal to each other. See, this is the angle of refraction, and this is also an angle of refraction. These two angles will be equal. Now, my question is, what is this angle known as? This angle. This angle. And this angle is known as angle of emergent. Angle of emergent. See, when light rays travel from glass to air, see, this is the ray which is emerging from the glass. This is the ray which is emerging from the glass, which is coming outside the glass. Therefore, this angle is known as angle of emergent. Angle of emergent. So here I can write the conclusion. Here I can write the conclusion. Angle of incident is equal to angle of emergent. Angle of incident is equal to angle of emergent. Now, the main point, what is lateral displacement? Now you can see. See, this is the original path of incident ray. This is the original path of incident ray, and this is the path of emergent ray. Path of incident ray, path of emergent ray, and this is the perpendicular distance between these two. This is the perpendicular distance between these two. Clear? So the distance between incident ray and emerging ray is equal, and what we can say, incident ray and emerging ray are parallel to each other. Incident ray and emerging rays are parallel to each other. You can see they are parallel to each other. Incident ray and emerging rays are parallel to each other, and the distance between these two is equal throughout. Distance between these two will equal throughout because these two are parallel, and this displacement of incident ray. Incident ray's original path is this, but incident ray is displaced up to this. Again I am repeating, the original path of incident ray is this, but the incident ray is emergent. Incident ray is diverted through this. So this is the lateral displacement. Incident ray is displaces up to this distance. This is the incident ray, and this is the displacement of incident ray, and the distance between these two is equal, and this is known as lateral displacement. This is known as lateral displacement. Therefore, we can say in lateral displacement, angle I is equal to angle E. Angle of incident is equal to angle of emergent. Angle of incident is equal to angle of emergent. Clear? Clear? You can draw this diagram. And what is the definition of lateral displacement? What is the definition of lateral displacement? The perpendicular distance between the incident ray and emerging ray is known as lateral displacement. The perpendicular distance between incident ray and emergent ray is known as lateral displacement. You can draw this diagram. Now I can write the factors affecting lateral displacement. Factor affecting the lateral displacement. The factors which affects the lateral displacement. So this is the first factor. If the angle of incident is high, the lateral displacement would also high. Second, if the refractive index of the second medium is high, then the lateral displacement is also high. Third, if thickness of second medium is high, the lateral displacement is also high. And the fourth factor is if the wavelength, this is the sign of wavelength, if the wavelength of incident ray is high, the lateral displacement would be low. If the wavelength of incident ray is high, the lateral displacement is low, or we can say if the wavelength is less, the lateral displacement is high. These are the four factors which affects the lateral displacement. You can write in your notebook. If the angle of incident is high, lateral displacement is high. If the refractive index of second medium is high, the lateral displacement is high. If the thickness of second medium is high, the lateral displacement would be more. If and these are truly inverse proportional. Wavelength is high, then lateral displacement is low, and if the wavelength is low, then the lateral displacement is high. Clear? So these are the factors which affects the lateral displacement. What is lateral displacement? The perpendicular distance between incident ray and emerging ray is known as lateral displacement, and you can see that the incident ray and emerging ray are parallel to each other. This is known as lateral displacement. Clear? Okay, you can write these factors. Now pay attention here. We're going to solve one numerical based on the refractive index. The question is a light enters from air to glass. Light enters from air to glass having refractive index 1.5 and having velocity of light 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. Then what is the velocity of light? This is the velocity of light in air. What is the velocity of light in glass? Clear? Again I am repeating the question, students. Light enters from air to glass having refractive index 1.5 and having the velocity of light in air 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. What is the velocity of light in glass? You can write the question, then we'll see the solution. Okay, now see, light enters from air to glass having refractive index of second medium with respect to first medium, so we can write the expression of refractive index of glass and refractive index of air. Now see, this is the second medium, so here the velocity of first medium, this is the first medium, here the velocity of second medium. Why? Because the refractive index are inversely proportional to the velocity of light. This is the glass, that is second medium, so we have taken velocity of first medium. This is the refractive index of first medium, so we have taken the velocity of second medium, because these two are inversely proportional to each other. Now see, the refractive index is given 1.5, this value is given 1.5, okay, and the velocity of light in air is not given. It is not given, and velocity of light, okay, velocity of light in air. The velocity of light in air is 3 into 10 raised to 8. We have to find the velocity of light in glass. Clear? See, this is the refractive index, velocity of light in air, that is first medium, 3 into 10 raised to 8. We have to find out velocity of the light in glass medium. So we can solve it very easily. See, 1.5 is equal to 3 into 10 raised to 8 upon velocity of light in glass. So the velocity of light in glass is 3 into 10 raised to 8 upon 1.5. Now 1.5 ones are 1.5, 1.5 twos are 3. So velocity of light in glass is 2 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. Very easy question. This is very easy. You can write this one. 1.5, the refractive index 3 into 10 raised to 8 upon velocity of light in glass. So velocity of light in glass is 3 into 10 raised to 8 upon 1.5. So this would be 1.5 twos. Clear? You can copy this question. See, the next question is the refractive index of diamond with respect to glass. The refractive index of diamond with respect to glass is given 1.6. 1.6, and absolute refractive index of glass. Absolute refractive index of glass is given 1.5. We have to find out the absolute refractive index of diamond. We have to find out absolute refractive index of diamond. See, the refractive index of diamond with respect to glass is 1.6. Absolute refractive index of glass is 1.5. We have to find out the absolute refractive index of diamond. Clear? So the formula is refractive index of diamond with respect to glass. We can write the refractive index of diamond with respect to refractive index of glass. Now this value is given 1.6. Refractive index of diamond is not given, and refractive index of glass is 1.5. So these two would multiply with each other. 1.6 into 1.5 is equal to refractive index of diamond. So the refractive index of diamond is equal to 1.6 into 1.5. You can multiply and can get the answer. Clear? So today we have completed this chapter, that is light reflection and refraction, with each and every part in detail and the numericals. I hope you have understood what we have done today, and that was all for this chapter. Thank you very much.